The last time we saw television anchor Chris Lawrence was in Washington, D.C., where in addition to his anchoring and reporting duties, he would do lots and lots of interviews and panel shows with fellas and college professors explaining, constantly black-splaining to us why white people are always asking these stupid questions, why they don't understand, why black criminality is so high. We don't understand the slavery, the 400 years of whatever, the 4 million years of degradation, whatever excuse. That's what his shows were, one constant long run of excuses. And after a while, well, it got a little bit much for Chris, and he just lost a little bit of patience with people who didn't get it.
Being black is exhausting. Being black is exhausting. Being black is exhausting.
Well, that was a couple of years ago when we did that story about Chris being so exhausted explaining black things to white people. Well, guess what? It's not getting any easier, is it, Chris? He's down in Dallas now.
Sometimes you just got to call it like it is. This next story made investigators mad, and you'll probably feel that way too.
That's for sure. Arlington police say a man was out on bond for another crime when he violently attacked a woman. And what's worse, he had a rap sheet that'll make your head spin. Okay, here it is. Corey Draper is a career criminal. We found records that date back more than a decade. Teresa Woodard shows us how a tip landed him back in jail.
Most of us could never identify this man.
Good luck, smile for the camera, you going to jail, buddy.
But someone who knows Corey Draper and his criminal past did. When they saw this video on the news, they gave Draper's name to police. And when police put his picture in a lineup and showed it to the woman he's accused of carjacking.
The next thing I know, I was grabbing onto the steering wheel and he was yanking my hair, and then he pulled me to the ground.
She identified him too. The neighborhood Walmart where police say Draper committed the crime is a quarter of a mile from his last known address. Detectives zeroed in on his complex, but then came a surprise. Their suspect was in jail 40 miles south in Ellis County. And what they discovered next made investigators mad.
This is the most frustrating thing that a police officer goes through, is the revolving door with some of these known offenders.
Draper's been charged with more than a dozen crimes since 2005, including a 2008 aggravated robbery at another Walmart on the other side of Arlington. Officers say he tried to kidnap someone here. In early 2019, police charged Draper with domestic assault. He bonded out but kept violating that bond. He was in and out of custody 3 times in 3 months. The last time was 8 days before this. Draper's ankle monitor had been disabled when this happened, so yet another warrant was out for his arrest. When he showed up at a relative's home in Ellis County, she called police. That's why he was back in jail.
This was a very violent attack.
When Arlington came calling.
Really elevates the conversation of the risk for the public safety.
Police are relieved they made an arrest, but say they'll continue to question why he was free in the first place.
Please, sir. I want some more.
All this black crime, all this black violence, it just keeps happening despite the best efforts of Chris and all of his buddies to explain it to us. We just don't get it, do we? We don't get why criminal justice reform keeps letting these guys out of jail, because there's too many black people in prison right now for no reason whatsoever, including that guy that was just in there, should have still been in there. Now he's out carjacking, kidnapping. You know, that's got to be an exhausting way to earn a living, too. But at least in his case, it didn't make the black kid angry.